Welcome to another episode of Mystic AF. My name is Keelan Siobhan Clark, and I am your host. And today I want to talk about ADHD. And first of all, if you follow me on Facebook, I just wanted to thank you. I put a post out there last week just saying what are some natural solutions to ADHD, natural ways to kind of deal with it. And oh my god, like everybody had some wisdom. Not everyone, but I mean a really good amount. I think there's like over 100 comments on the post. And what's incredible about it is that I think that ADHD is totally a gift. And I have the kind of ADHD that is ADD. So it's the spacey kind, it's the low energy with flashes of impulsivity. And those flashes of impulsivity can be very, very detrimental if it's not, I don't want to say handled because I feel like calling it a disorder is shitty. I don't think that there's anything wrong with us. I think that society has been created in a way that is extremely functional, amazingly. And sometimes people with ADHD or other disorders don't necessarily fit into that box. Now, what does this have to do with mysticism? Well, in order to be magical, to allow us to play in that space, there gets to be open to possibilities outside of thinking thinking outside of the box. See, I've got dyslexia too, so bear with me. And a lot of times what it is my mind is going so much faster than my mouth can catch up with. So for me, a lot of times I look kind of low energy or really, really high energy, but my mind is always going. And here's the gift of that is that I can transport to worlds while I'm awake. Like Darren and I will be watching a football game. He loves sports. I could give a shit about sports, but I love him. So I interact with the sport. And it's kind of fun when I actually catch it. But a lot of times I'll be looking at the TV and he knows. He's like, "Where are you?" I'm like, "It's none of your business." But I'm like space traveling. I'm out in the ethers doing all kinds of magical things. It looks like I'm a space cadet. So for anyone out there who's ever been called a space cadet, know that you, whatever planet or world you're going to, there's a reason for that and you get to own it. And you get to stand in your power of it because it's a gift. Not everyone has that. So, I mean, the bad pieces, let's change a little bit, gears a little bit, the detrimental pieces of someone with ADHD that isn't kind of handled is that I can become very impulsive, very. Like, I'll get rid of everything in my closet and not have any clothes to wear. Or I will impulse buy. And like as I get older, I realize that some of my patterns are abnormal. And a lot of times it's like, well, where do we learn the normal patterns? Right. And I also know that healthcare in America, mental health care is totally effing effed. I mean, it costs at least $400 to go to a psychologist, which is, I mean, I'm sure they're worth it. But I mean, when someone is dealing with extreme mental issues and who's homeless, how are they going to afford $400? I mean, I make great money. It's not that I can't afford a $400 doctor. It's that I don't think that I would put that much money into myself for that. Isn't that crazy? Like, what is that? What the fuck is that? So I self-medicated for a while, couple years, and it was awesome. And I was really, really thin. Now, the backstory of that is I thought that in order to be a model, I had to be very thin. So I actually created my body to be 125 pounds. I wasn't eating very much. I was heavily medicated on a drug called Concerta, and I was smoking and drinking. And it freaked my parents out. Like, they were just like, it was right before my mom passed away. So people see me now who knew me from that time period, and they're like, what happened? Why'd you gain all this weight? And by no means do I think I'm fat, by the way. I've dealt with those pieces. But the problem with the medication was that I was self-medicating, meaning I would go to my doctor and get the medication, but I didn't have anyone really monitoring my usage outside of my doctor checking in and saying, and I'd be like, well, it's not working. It's not working. It's not working. Just be upping it. No fault of the doctor at all. But what I realized not very long ago, about a year ago, probably, when I got off of it for probably the third time, because I kept getting on it and getting off it, going on and getting off it, which also isn't the way to do it. But I realized it's like I needed someone to manage me taking the medication if I was going to take the medication. But I also knew when I was taking it was that my guides were talking to me and saying, you don't need this. It's not sustainable. And it's keeping you from the messages we really get to give you. And I said, okay, I hear you. I hear you. I get to get out of my own way, my own love of it. It kept me very busy. And it was great. It was almost euphoric. And at the same time, I knew it wasn't sustainable. Like, when I was really, really thin, my heart was just beating out of my chest. I stopped wearing my Fitbit because I would see my pulse rate and it would freak me out. Scary stuff. And again, at the same time, I was smoking and drinking. Now, people with ADHD and people who are gifted with really tapping into to source, those things combined, ooh, do we have a recipe for potential disaster? Which is one of the reasons I smoked and I drank for 20 years. The smoking was really about a way to manage my time. So one of the suggestions was, to set a timer to work on things. And I was using the cigarettes when I smoked to manage my time. Like, oh, I've gotten here in my day. It's just so interesting, isn't it? And I replaced the smoking with creativity. I would go outside and draw a picture on my phone instead of smoking a cigarette. It was really powerful. I did not do it alone. My guides helped me also. And the download of Lady Liberty. And then for the drinking helped me almost control my impulsivity, which I know sounds backwards, but my impulsivity still happens. Just like, which is great as an entrepreneur, because I can be like, all right, I'm gonna move forward with this. Let's go. Like, get my team and all that. But the drinking kind of gave me license to be impulsive in that way. That makes sense. I hope it makes sense. But for someone who doesn't have it, it might not. And that's okay too. Comment below and let me know. Why am I talking about this? I'm talking about it because I think that there's a stigma that ADHD, there's something wrong with us and it needs to be fixed. And what if we could look at it as it's a total gift, which I know a lot of us already look at it like that. But the other thing that I felt in the comments that I was reading them is because, comments have energy just as much as this video or a picture, is that there was a little bit of a shame or a rush to fix it. There are 7 types of ADD alone. And not one person who posted, and again, I'm very thankful for everyone's suggestions, not one person took the time to say, hey, what's going on? Everybody had the answer and they jumped right to the solution, but not one person. One person actually did say, I would ask the person questions, but she didn't just say, address it to me. And I just find it interesting because as a society, as a group of really generous, beautiful people, why aren't we taking the time to just find out what's going on with the person? I didn't say it was about me. I didn't say it wasn't about me. But there was such a level of assumption some people said take stimulants. Some people said don't take stimulants. And for my specific type of ADD, I don't know. Sometimes the stimulants make me crazier, and I've gotten off caffeine before, and it's very my energy goes down even lower. So and again, I'm so thankful for everyone's solutions, but I just found it very interesting. Like, where do we not just sit and take the time to ask somebody what's going on? Because there is no one answer for any of this. So I invite all of us to reframe the stigmas around mental health. Several people in my family have bipolar, are bipolar, not have it, are. And so what? Several of my friends have different disorders that are manageable. There's nothing wrong with any of us. I really believe that. Even something like cancer, my mom died of breast cancer. And whereas I want to say, well, if she didn't drink so much, or if she didn't move to Ireland, or if she didn't travel that day, the truth of the matter is it was her time. And that's okay. It's okay. Nobody gets out of here alive. So instead of continuously looking for what's wrong with us, what would it be like if we just embraced all of the things that were really great with us? And the things that are really, really working for us, and then allowing ourselves support, questioning to tweak maybe some things. My impulsivity, I could definitely tweak that. But I made myself wrong for a really long time, and I see other people making themselves wrong. And my invitation is stop making yourself wrong. Stop looking for the things that are wrong with you, and just know you are a beautiful cosmic being put on this earth to do something wonderful and amazing. And that could be having babies, that could be creating something, a piece of work, or just telling a story. So embrace the gifts, embrace the battles, the sicknesses, and share yourself with the world. Continue sharing. And if this is resonating, please comment below. I appreciate you guys. And thank you again for all of the amazing suggestions. I learned a lot, and I got a lot of benefit out of it. And if this resonated and you feel it in your heart to share this, please do, because it's a conversation that gets to be had specifically about mental health. In the United States, our homeless population is people experiencing homelessness is extreme. And I think there are beautiful solutions if we are willing to get intimate and open ourselves up for discussion. So with that said, I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.